Hi, everyone. Welcome to Domain Sherpa. We've got a great Domain Sherpa review on tap for everybody today with Josh, Braden, and Drew on the show. As usual, we play the domain game where the Sherpas mention a domain they recently bought or sold, and the other Sherpas try and guess the price, with the winner getting some Sherpa swag, such as our Off the Market Forever hoodie. On that note, we'll be launching our Media Options Domain Sherpa store very soon for people to grab those along with a bunch of other cool stuff. We're very excited about that. And also, as usual, on the show, we discuss a bunch of names coming up for auction on NameJet with some highlights, including glutenfree.com, IPattorneys.com, and liveclasses.com. We also talk about the recent final sales price of Renato.com, which, due to the bet between Josh and Drew on a prior episode, resulted in a donation to the ICA, where we're always happy to support them in their efforts. This is all coming up right now here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. So let's do it. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka J On, and I am the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn the strategies and tactics to become more successful domain and name investors ourselves. These are the experts. As usual, there are 3 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. Number 1, we've got the domain game, where we start by learning what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. We keep score. The winner will get some Domain Sherpa or Media Options swag. We got some pretty cool stuff coming soon. The second segment is NameJet Gonna Jet, sponsored by our friends at NameJet, where we review a list of domains coming up for auction. We talk about what we think would be good prices for names, what are good investments, what are some that we might want to avoid. And then the last segment is grand opening, grand closing, where we discuss anything that we haven't already covered, where we look at what's going on in the domain space, the market trends, current events, allowing our guests to mention or promote anything they want to talk about. Usually though, we cover a lot of stuff early. So by the time we get to the end, that's like the shortest segment, but we'll see what's up. So with that, let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Over to my right, we've got my homie Josh Reason, aka Bjorn Borg, aka Harry Kane. So I took some heat last time, man. I called you David Gerard instead of Steven Gerrard, right? And so Declan, my bad. All the real football fans out there, David Gerard was a quarterback for the Jags.
I didn't even know you were trying to say Steven Gerrard. Declan's cool though. I like Declan. He's a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he's all good. But anyway, so yeah, that's who I was referring to, because Josh he likes the football, the other the European football as opposed to the American football. And so
what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday, JT? Did you watch the game?
No, I didn't. What happened? What game?
Oh man, Euro final.
Okay. Who won? Was it the US?
Well, no, we're playing Italy in the final on Sunday.
So all right, cool, man.
Yeah. My wife's Italian.
I'm not a huge. Wait, so it's you beat Italy? Is that who you guys beat to get to?
No, we just beat Denmark. Okay. We beat Germany in the round of 16. We beat Ukraine in the quarterfinal. Wow. We're playing Italy in the final.
Germany was the only real.
It's a big.
Braden's like, hey,
yeah. Germany was the only good team that we beat. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you, Drew.
Well, no, hey, it's all good. We got, we'll save this for one of the sports podcast shows coming up. We'll dig into soccer, football.
Don't invite me to that one.
No.
It's like you could be talking a different language right now. I have no idea.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But anyway, so I just needed to clear the air there because I felt pretty stupid. I actually like Liverpool. That's my quote unquote team. So. That was a big miss. So
I'll take Steven Gerrard. It's all love.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, he's a hell of a player. Or was. Anyway, so I'm sure he can still play. But anyway, with that, so Josh, who is locking his door right now, he's the host of the Digital Fortune podcast here on the DomainSherpa Network, founder of DNWE, the domain name marketplace, also a wildly successful domain investor, heavy in crypto, NFTs, Bored Apes, Meebits, Zed horses. I mean, you name it, Josh has probably got his hands in it. I did buy a deadhead today, by the way. Just
did you?
I did. I bought one.
Oh
Man.
my God. These avatar projects are getting out of control.
Yeah, I went and checked out after you told me garbage. Garbage. Absolute garbage.
Oh, don't hate on my deadhead, man. My guy's cool. He's rocking like a Lakers jersey. Says 666 on it, man. You know,
I'm in the same boat. I know I'm in the same boat as Drew right now. I'm kind of just like, okay, this is getting a little bit too much now.
Yeah, well, let's save that. Wait. We're gonna save that for the show because we're gonna do a rabbit hole. We're gonna get Alan Dunn. We'll get Shane. You know what I mean? Let's do it. Let's not bog this down because we got a short window today. We're gonna try and keep it to an hour. And so with that, let's keep it moving. So anyway, Josh, what's up, man? Thank you for being on the show.
What's up, man? What's up?
All right, and then below me we got my boy Braden Pollock, aka Tony Stark, aka Mark Zuckerberg, aka Benjamin Button. I didn't know, that was
what Mark Zuckerberg and Tony Stark are like the antithesis of one another.
Drew, let the man speak.
Yes, I got it. So first of all, let me start at the end. Benjamin Button, I didn't realize, you said you got a birthday coming up. I didn't know how old you were. You look younger now than the first time I met you, which was like 10 years ago. So, I don't know if it's that vegan life, you know what I mean? That sleeping in that oxygen chamber, like, the blood transfusions, man, you know what I'm saying? All that like anti-aging stuff you're doing, man, it's working, you know what I mean? So
we need to get on that, JT.
Terrell Owens used to sleep in Michael Jackson too, like in a temperature. It was like a little tent, and it like pumps oxygen and decreases your temperature.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and look, T.O. still looks good, man. He was out there trying to get a tryout recently, and he's still jacked in great shape. But I guess how do you do that when you're married, right? You're like, hey, hon, all right, good night. I'm going to unless you both can sleep in it. I don't know how that works. You know what I mean? Like that's like weird. Plus, I don't know how I'm supposed to fall asleep watching TV if I'm like, in the cryo chamber or whatever you call it,
So when we were talking to the architect, we're building this house, the architect actually told us that 40% of all of their clients these days ask for separate sleeping quarters for the husband and the wife. 40%. That's a lot.
That's a lot, man.
Where they said 10 years ago, that wasn't even like an option. Like nobody had a separate sleeping
Just
room.
get a divorce, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's perfectly in line with the divorce rate.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple that they were at our wedding. Next week is my 16th anniversary. So I've been married for a minute, and we have this couple, who one of their first dates was actually at our wedding. But I would say, what you never know, but I would say, we know them really well, and they're a really good couple, and they're, seemingly a good marriage. They sleep in separate rooms. And they have for years. That's
why they have such a good marriage. You know what I'm saying? They're not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't knock it till you try it. I mean, there are definitely a lot of nights where I'm like, I wouldn't mind just being in a different room than you.
Oh man. So
and it's not even because we're fighting. It's just like,
hey, like your own space. Like, when I'm up late, I'm keeping her up. Like, just that kind of stuff. Like, that can be a pain in the neck, man. You get woken up middle of the night. You're on different schedules. Somebody's getting up early. Like, but I don't know.
President sleeps in a different room than his wife. They got separate suites at the White House.
Yeah. Are you talking about the new president or the old president?
Wow. I mean,
are you talking about Biden or are you talking about Trump?
I mean, Trump. I mean, Melania was like, she was MIA, right? So
she was.
I don't think they were.
Yeah, she was in a different.
She was like in a different zip code.
Yeah, exactly. She was like,
my parents never slept in the same room, and never had a good marriage. So
there you go. So anyway, so
all right, let's go.
So this was all started with the intro. So Tony Stark, you know what I'm saying? You got the goatee, man. I just watched Avengers Endgame. You got the dope crib.
No, he's got the full beard. It's not a goatee.
Hey, look, man. he's got he's on that tech.
He's got the chin strap. He's got the whole chin strap.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know, man. I'm just saying. And then the Zuckerberg thing, man. I mean, dude is buying more digital real estate, meaning Braden, than almost anybody I know at the moment. It kind of reminds me of Zuckerberg trying to buy that little Hawaiian island and kick all the actual indigenous people out. You know what I'm saying? So, I think so those are the parallels, you know what I mean? That's where I'm coming from. But, those are all good. I think those are all good AKAs, man. Plus those might be the best collection of, people so far. You know what I'm saying?
I fully embrace all that.
I mean, you're welcome. you know? Anyway, for those who don't know, Braden is a serial entrepreneur, super successful domain investor, also very big in the domain space on the education side, almost philanthropic. How do you say that? Philanthropic. Yeah. So where, my man spends a lot of time trying to educate folks, speaking at conferences, Clubhouse, all that kind of stuff. Like one of those dudes that when anybody seems to hit up Braden to say, hey, we need some help, kind of with this particular event or thing, he's always answering the call. And I have a lot of respect for that. So even if I couldn't say the word, you know what I'm saying? So it's,
Right.
I drove 20 hours out of the last 2 days, man, and drove through a hurricane yesterday, which was pretty crazy. Shout out to Elsa, by the way. You didn't get me, bitch.
Didn't get me either.
Dude, I drove through it though, man. I was literally coming south in Georgia, like I was in the red. And Liz was calling me. She's like, "Yo, there's tornadoes. Things are crazy. You should, pull over." I'm like, "Look, I'm not pulling over. I'm like at the end of this, 17-hour event. Like I'm getting home. Like I don't care. At this point, it's either me or the hurricane. You know what I mean?"
Elsa was pretty weak, to be fair. Pretty weak.
Not for us driving through it, but yeah, like my understanding, like talking to like people that were here were just like, yeah, it's just a little bit of rain, So although it did flip cars on Route 1 supposedly. For those of you who don't know, Josh lives he's in my town. We hold it down here in Northeast Florida. Nocatee life, salt life represent. You know what I mean? So. And we actually are in a pretty interesting pocket. Hurricanes don't typically mess us up, unless you're like right on the water. And, so we're, typically not as bad, obviously, as Key West, South Florida. But anyway, so yeah, so drove through some of that craziness yesterday. But anyway, all right, let's keep it moving because these are just the intros, guys. And then finally, last but not least, diagonal from me, the boss, Andrew Rosner, a.k.a. Morpheus, a.k.a. John Galt, a.k.a. the Dirk Diggler Domains. You can't stop me from saying it. I'm going to say it.
I'm done with the Diggler.
Boom, I said it. I saved it for the end, though. Anyway, so founder and CEO.
I don't mind that, by the way, Drew. The Dirt Diggler, it's not bad, man. It's not bad.
Cool, Dirt Diggler was the man, bro. He was the man. He was literally like the rock star, Boogie Nights, man. That was like, he's the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it sounds cool. I just like the alliteration. I like saying it.
Yeah.
So
I think I'd rather be Mark Wahlberg.
All right, fine. AKA Mark Wahlberg. Dirt Diggler Domains. But all right. So founder and CEO of Media Options, #1 domain broker in the world, publisher of DomainSherpa, publisher of Ganjapreneur. Shit, if you don't know by now, I don't know what to tell you. Just go back through the archives and just catch up. So that's what's up. Anyway, welcome y'all. Appreciate you guys taking the time. It's been a minute since we did a show. We've been traveling and some other things. Summertime gets a little funky, but appreciate y'all taking the time and being here.
Well, all right. Glad to be here.
All right. Well, thank you for responding. That was good. I'm gonna have post-production. I'm gonna have Billy like kind of shorten that gap there. I should have had him. I'm gonna tell him too. Unlike that David Garrard thing, I should have just been like, man, I don't care how blatant it seems like, just fix it by, even if it's not my voice, Steven instead of David. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the ability to fix that, man. Like, I'm gonna talk to dude. Anyway, so with that, let's get into the domain game, right? And this is where the Sherpas share details of a purchase or sale they've made recently. They'll name the domain. The other Sherpas will guess the price. So now I've got it as a certain, we'll go this way. We'll start with you, Josh, and we'll go Drew, then Braden, then me. So to keep it kind of in order, and the guesses start with the next person. So Josh, you'll go first with the domain, and then Drew, you'll be the first one to guess. And then whoever's closest will get the point. Whoever wins will get the swag. And that's what's up. So Josh, what do you got, man? Purchase, sale, what's up?
Let's do a purchase.
All right. We buy it.
I will do orb.io.
Ooh.
Orb.io.
Orb. All right.
Orb.io. Is it buy?
It's a
buy.
Is there an order, or can I just throw a number out?
No, you're up, man. It's you.
All right. I'm going to say $788.
788 on a purchase. Drew says orb.io at 788. All right, Braden, you'd be next.
That's too low. I think he paid 2,200.
2,200. All right. So then for me, now I could do some shit where I, do like the thing where somebody jumps $1 above or $1 below. But for me, my gut is telling me $1,200. So that's where I'm at on this. So I'm at 1,200. So Drew's at 78 or 788. Braden's at 2,200. I'm at 1,200. Josh, what is the deal?
Paid $9,000.
What?
You paid $9,000?
See, when I said 2,200, and then I said even that's
all right.
low.
Get him off the show. He can't even be qualified as an expert anymore. Get him off the show. Get him off the show.
I'm gonna make you guys look very silly right now and say I immediately got an offer for $12,000 from another domain investor before it even hit my account.
All right. See, my man knows what's up, man. That's what's up.
I was just hoping, Chuck, for you that you got a good deal on it. But when I said 2,200, I was like, that's low.
I had to pay up. I had to pay up for that. I pay up for some .ios now. I paid like $10,000 for Clever.io.
Yeah.
These things are tough right now.
And look, in orb.io, it's 3-character. It's futuristic, right? So it slots into that whole .io aesthetic. Like it's definitely, forward, future facing. And so yeah, I just I underbid.
I knew you guys would underguess. Just
I also look at it like you're as a buyer, you know what I mean? You're a savvy domainer, so you've got like, I always guess lower on the buy side than on the sell side. I would have been in that range though if you were the seller, for what it's worth, So but yeah, man. All right, cool.
So
Braden gets the point.
So hold up. I want to understand your thinking process around why you pay $9,000 for orb.io.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite simple for me. I know that it's liquid for more than that right now to the network that I know that are buying .ios. So immediately I'm already in the black on it, despite the fact that it seems like an expensive purchase off the top of your head, But and secondly, I think it has potential to sell for upper 5-figure range. Likelihood of that low. Really low, but it does. But
so this is the thing I don't understand with you IO folks. Why would you pay? Okay. There's a thing when you're investing into stocks or bonds or there's an equity, specifically stocks, but there's this thing you call the equity premium, right? And that's how you value something. And so basically, equity premium is kind of like opportunity cost. And so when you look at a .io, you have to be pricing in a significant handicap right off the get-go because it's not .com. And so it's never going to be the first choice, right? And so that upfront. So orb.io, you're telling me, I may or may not agree with that, but you're telling me that in your, calculation, you're saying this is worth to me, mid to high 5 figures. So let's call it $50,000 to $75,000.
Yeah, I'd probably be asking $100,000.
Okay, so at $100,000, it's already in the top 10 of .io domains that would have ever sold, right? And so your likelihood of achieving that is extraordinarily low. But
there's a caveat. There's a caveat there because the top sales have come in the last 2 years. All of the top sales. So .io is going.
I'm responsible for the top 2. I mean,
publicly reported. You did one of them was on the DomainSherpa show.
Yes, that's publicly reported sales. I'm sure. In fact, I'm aware of several that are larger, but publicly reported sales, I'm responsible for the top 2. And that's not to say anything other than I sold the top 2, and those were super unique circumstances and timing, and literally identified the number 1 hottest trend in the world at that moment. And so I don't understand where. And again, I'm truly just trying to like fish for, a thought, a framework. And so your best case is that you sell this for, let's say 50 to 100, call it 50 to 75 is your strike zone. And you're paying 9. So your best case scenario is like a 5x, right? Maybe a 7x, right? And so your opportunity cost is taking 9 grand, putting it into something else that would generate a 10x or a 20x and has less downside risk because IO is overheated. I mean, we can debate whether it's overheated or it's just hot, right?
Mhm.
I would tell you it's overheated. I called the top several months ago. I mean, about a week after I called the top, I sold the largest .io public reported sale ever. And since then, I haven't seen anything else that even came close. And so I stand by the belief that I called the top really close to the top of .io. That has nothing to do with the volume of .io sales. What I'm talking about is the adoption by end users of .io and therefore continuation of the increase in IO sales prices. I fundamentally do not believe that is continuing. I think that that party has already ended and that we are on a decline, even if the base of .io is continuing to build. And so I want to understand why you take your best case is a 5 to 7x on the upside. You could easily lose half or 70% on the downside over a 5-year period. You're making that judgment based on today's market, right? And so, I mean, that's just fact.
So I hear what you're saying.
If you go backwards 3 to 5 years, that was a domain that was worth $100, $200, 500 at the top, 100%.
It's not true,
100%.
actually. It's not true because
maybe not in 3 years, 5 years, absolutely. So what I'm trying to do is say, go back 5 years. This was a $200 to $500 domain. Go forward 5 years. None of us can know, but based on what you're telling me, not even what I'm telling you, is your best case scenario is a 5 to 7x. And so what I'm trying to flush out here, and what I want our audience to understand is you need to always be looking at, this sort of equity premium. What is your opportunity cost?
100%.
Why are you going to invest 9 grand into this that has a best case upside of 5 to 7x and a potential downside of, let's say, 50 to 75%? So how do you justify that?
Yeah. I mean, so I agree with like the basis of a lot of your points, and I also agree that .io in the wholesale market is way overvalued right now. I also agree that we hit I don't think we hit a top, to be honest. I think that .io will continue to go because I think the base of .io has nothing to do with why it hit 100K sales and whatnot. It's obviously that those high sales are heavily dependent on crypto and crypto gambling type of sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that the true retail value of like top .ios are 100, 120K like a lot of people think, right? I think that it's more I've held a lot of good .ios for a long time. I think you're more in line with 50K on the really, really good ones. But there's been an artificial inflation in that due to the crypto market doing what the crypto market's been doing and people liking .io. But as a result,
but that is a really the thing is like that's a super finite number of sales. Like
I agree
it might
with you.
feel good because on Twitter somebody says I sold this one for blah blah, but you're talking about probably, and I'm pulling a number out of the air, but this is just instinct, which has been created through $500 million plus in domain sales. I would tell you that probably 0.01% of premium.ios selling above, let's say $25,000. 0.001% of premium domains that you call premium selling above that price. It's a minute, immaterial number.
I think there's a lot more sales than you would think right now.
Like bingo, it's bingo. It's a lottery. It's a scratch ticket. It's not calculated investing for the most part.
So the holders of strong.ios are strong holders for
holders.
Which is an important fact because the wholesale market price of very strong.ios, if a good .io goes to auction, what we would consider premium, right? It's not going for less than 5K right now. It's just not. It's not going for less than 5K. And most of the really good ones are going in kind of like the 7 to 8K range. So, and orb.io, I do want to mention, in 2018, it sold on park.io for $8,100. So that was, 3-4 years ago. I think we can all agree orb.io is a premium brand.
Yeah, totally.
So while $9,000 for orb.io is probably $5,000 more than what I would have paid for it 6 months ago, I still think that for me, it's still a decent bet. When I look around the domain market and say, what else can I put my money into? Because I know that I can get 12 to 15 for orb.io tomorrow if I need to, just because I know people that are buying for that price. And then on the .com side, that's what I compare my purchases to. So on the .com side, I'm stuck right now. I got to be honest with you, I'm really stuck, because if I'm gonna pay 5 to 10 grand for a .com, I don't feel like it's liquid for 5 to 10 grand afterwards. I feel like I'm holding those bags, and I need an end user. While these premium.ios, I do feel like are liquid, and I do feel like if I need to get out of it, I can at a profit.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent
But where are you paying five or 10 grand for a .com where it's not liquid, right? Because like by definition, this has been my thesis that I've promoted here on Domain Sherpa for many years. It's like you're coming into the market, you don't know what the hell you're doing. The best way to gauge whether you're on the right track is how many people are bidding behind you. So you go buy a domain, you're the number one bidder, you win. Well, most likely there's somebody right behind you and maybe another guy behind him or girl who is ready to pay, let's say, within a 20% range of what you paid.
I've said the same thing. I've said the same thing, and I definitely 100% agree with that principle. I will say that over the last 6 to 12 months, the auction prices have confused me a little bit, though, because I don't feel comfortable with that anymore. I don't think that there are a line of people willing to pay, even 50% of what some people are paying at auction, and that's worrying to me.
Well,
but that doesn't stand, because they're. And again, I'm sorry, I don't want to like dominate this conversation, but like,
no, this is good conversation in my opinion. I think this is really good.
I just think like
right here,
if I'm in an auction with you and you bid 5,800 and I was at 5,700 and you win, I mean, sure. Let's call it a coin toss. Let's say 50% of the time I'm going to have, buyer's remorse. 50% of the time I'm going to have seller's remorse, or let's say opportunity cost remorse. I'm going to say, oh, why didn't I just bid 5,900? Right. Let's call it 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, I'm going to say, well, thank God he won. I should have stopped bidding at 5 grand. But again, I think when I say a 20% margin of error, I just don't believe. I would love to test that. In fact, I'm going to do that. But I don't think that that's true. I think that if you go buy a domain on GoDaddy and you pay $5,800, and then you say, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm going to re-auction it, I think you're going to get at least 5. Now, you're going to pay a commission on that, and you're going to lose more money. But the point is not that. The point is, what will the market pay? And I think that the market will pay within a 20% margin of what you paid, if we're talking about the same time frame and circumstances haven't changed.
I think you're probably right in most cases there. I do agree with that. However, there's another component to that, and that is my sell-through rate, man, on .io is much higher than it is on .coms for the same price. And that's just another element. Hey, listen, I'm .com, right? I'm like 95% .com. I paid a lot of money for a lot of .coms, but on a name that I pay 5 to 10 grand for in .com, that's like a possibly hold forever, sometimes, and while I feel like the premium.io gets more interest, today. Whether that's going to withstand the test of time is another question, but it does today.
Well, I think one of the reasons is because if you're spending 5 grand on a .com, it's certainly not, I don't even want to say top tier, but you can't compare it to anything else.
Yeah, it's mid tier. It's probably a decent 2-word .com.
Right. It's not like there's something that's better. Nobody's upgrading to that 2-word, .com. But a premium.io in the same price range, that's a good name. There's, in many cases, the company that's acquiring that is starting with that name and probably not going to upgrade from there, because we're seeing a lot of tech companies that they're going to their brokers and they're saying, I want the .io. Like this is the name we want in .io. And they don't even care about the .com. Not to mention, like in the case of Orb, for example, if I own
We literally just had our first case where that happened last week. That was the first time that's ever happened to us.
it rarely happens. Orb.com, by the way, 7 figures, hands down, right? And, like there's no question. And so for someone to spend 50 or 75 on the .io is a steal, right? Because they can't get the .com. It's way out of their budget. Orb.io is a fantastic. I mean, that's like an ultra premium in a .io, right? So it's a very, very good name. And I think the other reason why it's a good buy for Josh is it's liquid. Unlike that $9,000 .com, which is not liquid, this .io is liquid. And the proof is that he immediately got an offer from another investor at a 45% premium, which is a pretty good flip, right? I mean, who wouldn't want 45% ROI in a few days, right? Anybody who
Days, it was before it even hit his account.
it is a good buy. It is a liquid buy. So even if he's not going to get 10x on it, it's a solid buy because it's liquid. For that alone, it's a risk-free buy.
Yeah.
So I mean, good on you, Josh, for even getting that name.
And all good.
It's hard to get those names. I will say this: if you come across those names at those price points, like that kind of premium of a name, I will buy it. And there are lots of other people out there that will. So it's like,
I'll give you an example, Drew, to your point about these names and what you think they're selling for. I own Raven, Raven, Raven.io.
Yeah.
I used to own that.
Did you?
I sold it to Andy.
Yeah, and I bought it many. So last month I got an offer for 30 grand that I declined. Because I think I can get, at least twice as much. Because that's what these names are going for. These premium IOs, you're looking at, mid 5 figures to start and up.
Cool. So, all right. So we guessed low, but I think this definitely triggered a very good conversation. And this is, these are important conversations. And I think it's, Josh is very much in the weeds on the .io stuff. Drew is, obviously not as much a believer, but, separately, Drew, I'll connect with you later about that portfolio of .io domains that we're trying to buy right now, that we're trying to put a damper on the market.
Whoever's got that portfolio, who's going to pay more for it.
Obviously, but I think I think those are all good points, and it's interesting stuff. And this is exactly the purpose of the show, is to get into the mind of you guys as you guys are doing what you're doing and working through that process and understanding where the market's at and where the opportunities are, where some of the pitfalls may be, and why you all do what you do. So all good stuff. So with that, let's keep it moving. So next up, we got Drew here in the domain game. Dude, what do you got? You got a buy or a sell? What do you want to put on the table?
Let's see. Hold up. I'm going to do a buy, I think. I'm just trying to figure out where I bought it and what the price was. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Kickstart.com.
Oh my God.
What?
That's so funny. Braden knows why I'm laughing.
Well, share it with everybody else, man.
I heard about someone who was very upset that got swiped. And we didn't know who bought it.
And now you know.
What's up, though? And if you don't know, now you know. I can't guess on this one, unfortunately. So I'm gonna be out on the swag.
Who was upset? Alvin?
No. Oh, Alvin. Yeah, that's the person who should be upset. Yeah.
Well, so I'll give you the details later. But I actually had run this by Alvin, probably a year ago. When it first came up to market, and I went to Alvin, I was like, yo, kickstart.com, but he wasn't in a position to buy it, which is why I didn't feel bad about buying it. But
yeah. I mean, it's a great name. I love that name. I'm super jealous.
Well, so with that, we're going to go in order. So it goes to Braden to guess what the purchase price of that domain was.
100 grand.
Braden with 100 grand. And this is just a 2-person race. So Josh.
And by the way, like it came across my desk a couple of times, and I know the ask was much higher than that.
Braden with
99.
Oh boy, he pulls that move. He says, all right, it's going to be a higher or lower kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. I think I respect it. I respect it. All right. So
I think it was like 90, but I just got to be safe here.
Yeah, hey, that's fair. I think you'd be silly to not do if you're trying to get that swag, man. You know what I'm saying? Braden's already got a point in this game. So
I don't even know if I want to drop the price. I'm ready to change up the domain.
You bought it just within the last couple of days, right?
Yeah, I bought it like last week.
So go ahead, Drew. Why don't you disclose the buy price?
78,000.
Boom. So there is Josh with his. So Josh gets a point. Braden's got a point. This is going to come down to the wire, I think. Yeah. So what do y'all think?
Yeah. So give me. Now I need to hear why this was like a big to do over there as soon as I said that name.
Over Brosh headquarters.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know,
I know that someone you're very familiar with in the space said that they offered 80K, and then received a response saying that it was just sold.
Yeah.
Boom.
So I kind of figured it would be slightly higher than 80K, but that makes it even worse.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, you got to get up real early in the morning if you want to beat me. I mean, that's it. I'm going to come. I'm going to just steal that ball from you every single time you coming down the court. Every single time. I'm going to turn around, take it back down the court. I'm going to dunk it on your ass every single time.
Oh, man.
You're always
taking a lap right now against you.
I wear my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know who I am.
That's a
78K is a good buy, by the way. A really good buy for that.
I mean, I think it's a little rich. I liked it. I loved it at 50. I like it at 60. Beyond that, it gets a little bit rich, I think. But it is an extraordinary name. There are, I don't remember what the numbers are, but it was like, there was like 120 companies with
usage.
The name Kickstart. Yeah. Huge adoption. I think it's a 95 name or a 94 name. It's used in politics. It's used in finance. It's used in everything. It's just a great.
I'll tell you why it's not a little rich. I'll just tell you right now why it's not a little rich. You could flip it today for 100K. Right now, you could flip it right now for 100K. So you got to steal.
Yeah,
not bad if you're into that sort of thing.
Braden, not bad if you like making 22K in like a second.
Braden, what do you think, man?
What do I think?
I'll give you 100 grand.
No, I passed. I mean, I thought the name was okay. I didn't think it was a slam dunk. I thought the price was high. I can't remember if I don't think I extended an offer. I'd have to double check. Let me see. I wasn't thrilled with it. I did extend. I offered 20K.
Oh, you.
Yeah, but I mean that was actually a while ago. That was
So this came to market the first time like a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
and he actually approached us to broker it, and so we were going to broker the name, and he was like, "No, but I need to sell it fast." And I was like, "All right, well, I think I offered him 50 grand, right?" I was like, "Well, if you want to sell it fast, then I'll buy it, but I'll give you 50 grand for it, right?" And I think we were talking about brokering it in like the 350 to 500,000 range. And so I was like, I'll give you 50 grand. If you want to sell it fast, I'll give you 50 grand. And the guy was like, no. And then he came back, 2 weeks ago or something, and he said, "Look, circumstances have changed. I need to sell it right now to the highest bidder. What's your offer?" And I said 50. And he said, "Well, I got somebody already offering me like, I don't remember, 60 or 70. And I said, "Well, I'll do, whatever." I think there was 2 or 3 back and forth. I went to 75. he came back. He said, look, I've got somebody at 75 already. And I said, well, I'll give you 78, but you got to answer me right now. That's it. Gun to your head, 5 minutes to answer me. And he came back. He said, all right, I'll do it. So.
Boom.
Yeah, well played.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's what's up. So, Josh, with the
I have one thing on that topic.
You got to pin down people like that. When you got people that have been fishing for a sale for a year and a half, they're going to just take whatever offer you make. They're going to go take it to everybody else that's made an offer. This thing's been shopped to everybody and their uncle. And so you got to put a gun to their head and say, look, this is take it or leave it. And then you got to stand by that. Right. But that's the only way you're going to close a deal like that and get it for, let's say, less than what others would pay.
So when you hear Kickstart, what do you think of?
I'll tell you what I think of.
Yeah, go.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, me too. Me
and
too.
That, and that to me, I think that's the biggest problem it has.
Yes.
Well, no,
so
that's
I
the thing.
agree.
Normally,
I
was just going to say, normally I would
buying it. Except that then I went and looked at how many companies actually do use the name. And it's really a massive number. I agree. If I'm a founder and I'm starting a new company, even if I love the name Kickstart, I'm going to take a really hard second look, simply because I know that space is dominated by Kickstarter, even if I'm in a completely separate business. But that being said, when you go and you look at the data, and there are new companies being started, and there are hundreds of companies already in existence that use this word. And so, yeah, I like it.
100%.
Yeah, I think
that's why sometimes these
song. That's where I'm at. Kickstart.
What do you think of?
Kickstart my heart all day.
That's what you think of?
No, I'm just playing.
I just think it's an interesting topic, that in itself, because I think of Kickstarter as well. I think that hurts it as a brand. But then if you look at the data, that says the complete opposite of that hypothesis. It says founders don't care about Kickstarter and they think it's a great brand regardless. And I think that as domain investors, we do that a lot. And the data often actually suggests otherwise, especially with names that we have troubles maybe spelling, or we think are spelled, badly, or most people would have difficulty spelling. You say, okay, I think it's too confusing as a brand. But then you go and look at the data, founders don't think the same thing. So,
yeah, and I think that's a key piece. And this is a recurring theme here on the show, which is you got to look at the data. I mean, it's easy to get hung up in the emotion, the anecdotes, things like that. But at the end of the day, when you're really looking at what's selling, prices, activity, interest, and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, the most successful folks are looking at the data. I mean, that's to the benefit of the audience. Like, you can only do so much by quote unquote gut, at the end of the day, especially if you're trying to do this consistently over a long period of time, So, but yeah, so, all right, well, with that, let's keep it moving. Braden, buy or sell, what do you got?
I haven't sold anything of note in like a month or so. It was kind of a slow June. I turned down a lot of offers. The last few months I probably turned down 7 figures in offers, but and have a lot of deals pending. I probably have like $5 million in late stage negotiations happening, and nothing is closing, which is, I don't know. You guys feeling that too, like during the summer months?
It's normal, right, for the summer, and you always kind of go into the summer with a full pipeline. Some stuff will fall out, some stuff will get completed, but I feel like it just sort of gears back up in September 15th. But I 100% agree with you. We were going a million miles an hour, like it was crazy. And then I would say the last week of May, first week of June, things started to really like materially slow down. We've got a pretty big pipeline at the moment, and so things are still moving, but there's a tangible feeling that the market's already on summer mode.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because I on the larger deals, I would say, $50K and up, it's been like pretty much crickets for me as well since literally around that time. But one thing that's interesting is that the smaller size deals, they just kind of stay consistent all the way through. They don't really change too much, which is kind of a cool element of domain investing, is right, all these different categories. And dipping your toes in all these different verticals can help with kind of cash flow. So
yeah.
Wow. Kickstart.com, by the way, I just looking it up, has a lot of traffic.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
No.
So, but yeah, so, we definitely saw that same slowdown, and, which is why I had to sell my house and move into this hotel. Business is just not what it was. So now we're, but it's all right. I got a fridge. I almost have a full-size fridge. We're okay. We're going to be all right. But, I think that's the interesting thing. I think just from a business standpoint, though, we're, utilize the downtime as a way to, work on other things, right? I mean, and we continue to, we've got a strong pipeline, but we continue to load up into the pipeline. It's going to be a really interesting Q3, Q4. Pretty excited, to say the least.
I think Q4 is going to be, I don't know how interesting Q3 is going to be, but I think Q4 is going to be monster.
Yeah. Bananas.
For you or for the industry?
Both.
Yeah, I mean, going back to me, because this was about me.
Tony Stark.
These are deals that are in late stage negotiations, like super close, or even agreed upon pricing, and waiting for purchase and sale agreements to show up. So some of those will close. I'm just waiting any day. Like, some of these are gonna get funded. They won't all go through, obviously, but certainly some of them will. So let's do a sale. Have I talked about co-brand? I sold it like in May, but it just got paid.
Cool. I like it. All right, let's do that one. I will go first. So you sold co-brand?
I sold co-brand,
Co-brand.com.
Co-brand.com on Cito.
I sold you co-brand.com, by the way, in the package from Blue.
Yes.
What was it?
Right.
What's the company?
They
They owned the search engine with the best name ever. Something dog or puppy or something. What are they? Oh, that's so terrible.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of that company.
That was in the same thing. You got stereo.com.
Nope,
You got
I got lobby.com.
Lobby.com.
And I got
Valentine.com.
Which one?
Valentine.
It was like no, I didn't get I got like Valentine's card, or I got a bunch of like 2-word.coms. I wanted lobby.com.
Mm-hmm.
But I had, it was like the end of their portfolio, and they had like 20.
You literally it was the end of the portfolio. We had sold off the one-off names. There was lobby.com. I think you got valentine.com too, but there was
but I ended up getting a bunch of 2-words like loveletter.com, which I sold for 35 grand, and like Hobby Market, and Dear Mom, I sold for like 10 grand. I got a bunch of, they've been selling. Yeah. Co-brand was one of the, actually, I think co-brand I bought, you sold me that before I bought the remaining portfolio. I think that was not
search engine. Was it Dogpile?
Dogpile, that's it. Dogpile. Yeah.
Did you get your investment back, Braden?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you still got lobby.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Multifold.
Yeah. No, for sure. I paid.
I don't know if we have an NDA. Let's not discuss what the price you paid was. Okay. I just don't remember, and so I'd rather not.
Well, we haven't even named the company. So.
Yeah, but it was a great deal. I mean, it was a great deal.
Yeah.
Like, they literally, it was like end of the quarter. They were like, all right, we spent 6 months selling off individual names. Go find us a bulk buyer for all the rest. And it Braden was that guy.
And the funny thing is I just wanted Lobby. I didn't want the others. And you're like, no, they're all good names. And finally, I was like, fine, I'll take them. Whatever. I'll just and because it was worth it. It was like we were at like $10,000 apart. I'm like, fine, I'll just pay the extra 10 grand for Lobby. And
I think you got like 30 names or something.
Yeah, a little bit less, 20 something. But I ended up doing well with.
He's like, no, it's 29. Dude. was 20.
Yeah.
Wasn't 30.
Yeah. No, I remember. I mean, I think about that package often because, once in a while I recognize one of the names, in like DN Journal or something. And I go, oh, that was in that Braden package.
You think about your package often.
Well,
All right.
so
hey,
co-brand is another one.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
co-brand, I'm going to say 100 grand.
There was another weird one like co-brand in there. I can't remember what it was, but there was one in there that I loved. That I was like, that is going to be a 6-figure sale someday. And it was like the lowest value name in the portfolio. But it was one of these things like a co-brand. Like it was like.
There was one that you kept talking up, but I thought you were crazy. I think it was giantbear.com.
Okay.
You loved it.
Yeah.
I
I still love Giant Bear.
Yeah. I think I still have that, but I think I got like a $5,000 offer on it at one point.
Yeah.
Well, cobrand.com, my guess on a sale, I'm going to say $100,000. Josh,
Cobrand.com.
35.
Did you say 35?
No, actually, I'm gonna say 39.
39.
Yeah.
Okay, D.
All right. I don't know. I mean, he's at 39. You're at 100. I mean, I'm going to say 50.
All right, we got 50, 39, and 100. Braden, what is the deal?
50 on the nose.
Ah, man. All right, so.
How you like me now?
All right, well, all right, so cool. Well, that's what's up. So I think that's obviously a solid. I mean, Drew knows what you paid for it, right? So he's got a little bit more insight.
I mean, that's like 1,000x, I think. Something,
It was 3 years ago. 4 years ago. It was June of 2017.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah.
And all right, well, that's a great sale. I mean, $50,000 and a whole bunch of X.
And you don't know what I paid yet.
Well, are you going to tell us? I thought we were kind of like, I think we were just left to know that it was many times what you paid for it.
I paid $3,000.
Damn, son. All right, well, you're into 15, 16X or whatever, right? I mean,
I think that also depends on how you slice up that package.
No, that was not in the package.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
That was pre. I bought that
Separate. Got it.
So $3,000 to 50 grand in about 3 years. I think we would all say that is a very successful flip. That's well done, man. Great job.
No, it's not.
And I mean, I think the name is a great name. It's strong. It's a .com. It's I think it'll be interesting. So the folks that bought it, without being able to tell us too much about that, I mean, are we going to see something launched on it soon? Is it, any indication on what's coming?
Oh, well, let me break that down for you. I have no idea. I don't. It's dead to me. I don't. I don't know who bought it. I don't care. I don't know what they're doing with it.
Hey, all good. All right.
But I will tell you that I own co-brand.com as well, and at some point, I will be in touch with them to upsell them.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
so,
stuff.
So with
I just sold a name. Just sold a name while we were chatting away.
Oh,
Easy life.
Can you tell us what it was?
Peasy.
Yeah. Nomadians.com.
Nomadians.
Like
digital
nomads.
Nomadians, plural.
Kind of like guardians and nomads together. Nomadians.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Are we guessing?
You just sold. Wait. I'm just saying. I just sold it just a second. Just thought it was interesting.
Okay. Boom. More money.
Yeah. You think I undersold it? $5K.
No, I like that name of 5K. I think that's great.
No, I mean,
what'd you buy it for? $100? That's like a minimum.
Yeah, worthless than 5K. That's a good deal every time.
What'd you pay for it?
Easy, right? Yeah.
What'd you pay for it?
$200 and something.
No, I'm not sure I paid it. Look, I just got the email. I'm not sure.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's like a minimum bid at NameJet. Flip for 5K. Probably held on to it for what, a year maybe?
Something like that. Yeah. I haven't had that. I haven't had more than 3 years to be holding them. So, yeah.
Boom.
So good return no matter what.
Good for you. All right, cool. So Drew's got a point, Braden's got a point, and Josh has a point. So then I will break out a name then for the purposes of the tiebreaker.
I haven't lost yet, by the way, JT. All the Sherpa episodes that we've been doing this, I have not lost yet. So
all right, man, you got some swag coming.
Which just means that he needs to start putting his hands up while he's guessing.
So we're gonna get him so he's gonna get a hoodie. He's gonna get the Off the Market Forever hoodie. He's gonna get the Mo Money hoodie. You know what I'm saying? We got all sorts of stuff coming. All right, cool. With that, so I have a purchase recently. JT.vc. JT.vc.
You wish.
I recently bought. So what so I guess it starts with Josh since we're going in that order. So Josh, what's your guess? I bought it, and that's what's up. And if you go to it, it'll take you to my LinkedIn page. Bam.
I know how much you paid for it. I'm just trying to remember.
Well, you got to make a guess, man, without looking.
Is that a lighter or what is that in your hand?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, it's 4th of July. You
Okay.
lighting off fireworks, man? You lighting off fireworks?
There's a
man?
torch.
In
There's
that,
a torch. God. I think I'm so confused because I thought it was going to go much higher, and you ended up winning it for what it was at that time. And I thought somebody was going to bid you up, but I think people got kind when they saw that it was you, and they
I
just
hope
didn't
so,
bother.
man. You know, that's it. I got a lot of love for people. You know what I'm saying? They got love for me. It's all good.
Gosh,
All right,
I
well,
want to
next
say
guess,
it.
man.
I want to say it was 1,250 bucks.
All right, 1,250 is Josh's guess.
Basically what I was going to guess.
All right, well,
So what's your guess?
I'm going to say 1,200. That's
1,200?
literally what I was going to guess.
all right. And then Braden.
I'll take the under.
All right. So you're gonna do the 11.99.
That's right.
All right. Well, then the price that I paid, 11.21. Braden is the winner.
Oh,
Josh's streak is broken, and Braden's getting some swag. Boom.
These guys just fed off my price, knowing that I was close.
They know you.
Unbelievable.
no, you know what? I bought a 2-letter .vc also like a couple of weeks ago, and it was all. I think I also paid like $1,200, and that's why I was gonna guess that.
Yeah, and shout out to Barman, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he let you know, right? Yeah, he let you know.
Yeah. And Bar, Frantic, he's that dude. And he was just like, yo, you in on this? And I'm like, I am now. I never realized, I didn't know until that moment how badly I needed that domain name. And then I was actually
Story of my
fighting,
life.
Andy Booth for a little bit. No, James. It was James that I was bidding against, and a little bit. And then he finally chilled, and I took it. So, and I dig it. I mean, look, 2-letter VC, the initials, like, it's all good,
I've only got one 2-letter .vc. I paid $328 for it. Well, last year though. So
Yeah.
Well, I was happy to win it. And again, I got it pointed to my LinkedIn. So it's all good. I'm making use out of it. That's it, making it happen. But most importantly, I was able to throw it out here to break the tie, to give Braden the big win. Boom. Iron Man with the win.
right on.
Congrats, Braden.
Thank
So,
you. Looking
all
forward
right,
to
the
that.
domain game. All right, with that, we're running up on time, man. We literally got like 20 minutes left to try to close this show out. So with that, let's jump really quick. Let's throw some commercials at y'all so you can see what we got going on there. So our sponsors, and then we'll come back here into segment 2, which is the name jet segment here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains.
Get money. Get money.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at FT.com. That's EFTY, FT.com.
Welcome back, everybody, here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. We are moving into segment 2, which is the NameJet list, sponsored by NameJet, NameJet gonna jet. All right, we got a list of 12 domains. And before we get into today's list, I'd like to recap a few that we highlighted on a previous episode. And a couple of those. So talking about domains, especially about .coms, I think this was a point I was gonna make, but I wanted to wait because we had this list to talk about. But you talk about .com domains selling in that $4,000 or $5,000 range. So we had 3 names that were on the list previously: balletstudio.com, carfleet.com, and innerhealing.com. All 3 domains sold for about $4,500. You know what I mean? So I think when you kind of said like, hey, you know, if you're buying you're spending that kind of money for a .com domain versus, an orb.io, you're going to get a decent, a good 2-character .com domain, right? I mean, I think those would be very much like in line with what you were talking about, right? I mean, that's kind of like right there in that sweet spot, correct?
Can we, you missed the most important one, JT. Renato.com. What price did it sell for?
Oh, yeah, 10 grand. What was our bet? What was the bet?
Yeah, I won the bet. I won the freaking bet. I said it would sell for over 10 grand, right?
Yeah.
Is that what the bet was?
But what would you actually bet though? Was it like $1? No, it was like
$100.
No,
$100.
it was a donation to the ICA. I don't remember how much. 500.
Yeah, $100 to the ICA. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And I have that here on the list. So.
Oh, sorry. I thought you forgot about it. I'm sorry. I can't believe I said that. You're such a great host. I apologize, JT.
I mean, hey, dude, this is why I get paid the crazy money to stay here in the Residence Inn. You know what I'm saying? Is because I'm on my game. But yeah, so
that's how you can put JT.vc in your future.
Exactly. So with that, yes. So Josh hit the number. Well, and therefore Drew now owes the ICA $100. So which, in the interest of just helping the cause, I will match that as well, since we're talking big money. You know what I mean? And if Braden would like to also do the same,
I wasn't even part of that. I don't even know what
you're here now. You're here now, man. That's what it is.
So, why? How did I?
Hey, JT he just pulled a Greg McNair.
Oh
right?
Man. Seriously, dude, he got me.
I'll give $100 to the ICA if Media Options give $200 to the ICA. I think that's fair.
All right.
Done.
All right.
Done. Boom. So, and Braden, you don't have to. It's fine.
Send money. Send money.
I give a lot of money. I think I'm at the bronze
anyway,
level.
But I think that but that's definitely what's
bronze. That's cheapo
bronze.
shit.
Yeah, that's like bronze is like
$200.
Bronze is one gold, son.
It's $1,000. I've been giving $1,000 a year for a long time.
This
no, but either we're gonna send some money to the ICA.
Made on DomainSherpa.com. I lost. You won.
Boom. That's it. See?
It's good.
$200. ICA, PayPal.
Boom.
Coming at you, baby. Paid. Done.
All right. We got to let them know that went down. And, and good job, Josh. You did not win the domain game today, but you did win the other bet, the side bet, if you will.
I did win the heart of the ICA.
Yes, exactly.
I'm still getting a hoodie, right? I want that.
Oh yeah, you get your swag, dude. Definitely, man. I mean, you won the domain game. That's all. That's
I don't even have a Sherpa mug. Mike always I'm gonna send you a mug.
So just for everybody's information, I don't think it's live yet, but it should go live in the next let's say a week or two. I think it's done. But we will have an official media options shop, and it'll be shop.mediaoptions.com, and we will have a bunch of really cool swag. We got some custom stuff designed. It's going to be cool. We've got Mo, our astronaut, mascot, Mo Money. Mo Money's going to be on there. We've got all different things. We've got hoodies, mugs, all kinds of fun stuff. Some of it's got the media options. Some of it doesn't. It's cool. It's for everybody. Go buy something or don't. We will not make any money, really. I think, we'll probably make $1 if you buy something. Yeah. But we just wanted to make some cool swag.
Yeah. Off the market forever. We got that on a couple of things.
Yeah, off the market forever.
That's what it is.
Hashtag gear.
Yeah, so it's all good. But so that'll be available. And but Braden, that stuff. I'll send you a mug as well, though. Just because you should have one. So Josh, do you have a Domain Sherpa mug?
How many Sherpas have I done? It's funny because Seiger is always
less than me.
Anyone, and I never. I've done like 20 Sherpas.
Yeah, dude, you've been you
at least.
You're regular. Like it's
No, I think you're more than 20 over the years. I think you're well over 20.
I threw out a number. I don't know.
That'd be kind of interesting to go through and see who's been on the most shows. And
can we search Sherpa? How do we search it?
There's probably I think there's a way. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So
Brew and Chain for sure.
But before, they're effectively hosts, right? So
I was trying to send you guys the screenshot that I paid the $200, but it doesn't work. Or at least I can't put it in the chat for some reason. I don't know why.
Man, you put your money where your mouth is. It's all good. Credit to Josh for being right. And like I said though, so I was gonna get into not just Renato, but Turret.com sold for $38,000, which was so we talked. And Wiser.
Yeah, I thought that was high. I like that name a lot, but it's tough to spell, and most people don't even know what it is.
And Wiser, like as in Budweiser, Wiser, or
wait, before you move on.
I think Amar bought Tourette, or was it you? Yeah, it was you.
This guy.
Yeah.
I think Turret's a great name, and I was actually happy with the price.
Well, you know what? I love Turret.
Wait, did you just forget you bought it and then just reverse course after you remembered you bought it?
No, I was just messing around.
Did I just see that happen, or am I just crazy?
No, I knew I bought it.
Oh, okay.
So I like Turret a lot. I mean, 38K is a lot, but it's a oneword.com. It means I think there's a lot of I think we talked about this on the show. Security and obviously online and
a bunch of companies are already called Turret.
Yeah,
so top of the tower, top of the castle. I mean, come on. Before you take aim, take out your enemies from the turret.
This hotel suite is in the turret of the hotel, actually. So
it's really.
It's on the 4th floor, highest floor available here. Nothing but the best. Anyway, all right, but let's keep it moving. And then Wiser.
Look at all these companies. I just typed in Turret in LinkedIn. Look at all these 118 companies called Turret.
Yeah, nobody's Well, I guess Drew said he thought it oversold, but 38K, man. That's really.
Well, I'm glad he thought.
I mean, I'm the one that loved it. When we did the Domain Sherpa, I was like the only one that actually really liked the name. But I just think it's a hard name to spell. But I do. I really like the name. I mean, I look, I'm a crypto guy. I'm a Bitcoin guy, really. But I'm expanding my horizons a little bit. So and in the Bitcoin maxi world, we talk about. Having your citadel, and you can't have a citadel without a turret. The turret's where you take out the enemy. It's like
That's it.
It's like, oh, you're coming at my citadel. You're done. Bye.
So,
and you're gonna have to do that from my domain name.
All right. So exactly. Hey, we've got 15 minutes. And a hard stop. So,
and
then the other one was Wiser, as in like Budweiser, or like a name Wiser, sold $14,000. I mean, that's so, so going back to Josh's point, you got a couple really good two-word.coms selling in that 4 to 5K range. And then anything that's one word, 10 grand, 14 grand, $38,000. I mean, it's those are not cheap, easy investments to make. Anyway, now, today's list, we've got 12 names. I think there's some really good stuff on here. As I always say, attached, we've got the list. You can download the spreadsheet, check out the names with some additional information. There are a couple of these that are closing, like within this show is going to air first thing next week, Monday, I think, which will be the 12th. And so some of these close within less than a week from the time the show is going to air. So, if you're in any of these names, I would go jump on there, get a back order in. They're all pre-release, expiring domain names, no reserve. Each one of them, if you want to be able to participate in the auction, you got to get a back order in before the back order deadline. So make that happen. There's a lot of good names on this list today. And with that, let's move quick. Who is, let's see who I've got first. Drew, what do you like? What do you don't like?
All right. There's a few, just obviously great names. Glutenfree.com. I mean, that's a huge name. That's probably one of the first, that's a six-figure name. It's just such a massive industry and growing. It's also got a ton of traffic. It's a phenomenal domain. It'll probably go for
Too much.
30 to 50 grand.
I think it's $50,000 sale.
Yeah, I think it's going to go for 30 to 50, and that's a good value. But again, it's coming back to what I was saying to Josh. It's like, your upside on that is at best, a triple at best. And I think, and so I think it's, it could go higher, but I think it's just too much opportunity cost of the capital for me. I think I am still finding, although I admit it is getting much harder to allocate capital, but I think there's still opportunities to, make your 5, 10Xs, in a reasonable time frame, before I'm going to start throwing down that kind of money on something I think, it sells for double what I paid or triple what I paid,
So what else you like? Anything else on the list that,
but if you're like somebody who's got a lot of money and you just came into this industry and you're like, if you're like, look, I'm looking for alternative investments because stocks are overpriced, real estate's overpriced. I'm looking for new investments. I just discovered the domain name industry. I agree with the thesis that domain names continue to go up in value over the next 10 to 20 years. And I don't know what the hell it is I'm doing, so I'm looking for low-hanging fruit. Well, glutenfree.com is probably like an amazing, that's like right in your wheelhouse, right? You got more money than skills in this space. Glutenfree.com is a winner for you because you're going to put money in it. You are almost definitely not going to lose money and almost definitely will find a buyer over the next 5 years at, let's say, 75 to 150 grand, almost sure thing, right? And so, that's a pretty solid, ARR.
With one caveat, if I can just interject, and I know this is Drew's review, but I gluten-free, while it's a monster term today, I think it is a diminishing term over time because fat-free was the term 10 years ago or 15 years ago, right? Gluten-free is the thing now. Like, plant-based is the thing that's coming. Gluten-free in a few years, no one's going to care. Like, it's not going to be a thing anymore. I remember years ago when everything said fat-free on it. Like, you could buy a bag of apples. I kid you not, it would say fat-free on it. It's like,
I know.
Apples. What do you?
And now those same apples say gluten-free.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the only reason why
you like them apples?
I generally 100% agree with you. And I think gluten-free is maybe different, because there's literally like a pandemic of people with
Celiac
disease, and it's increasing. It's not steady. It's not decreasing. It's increasing exponentially. And so because of that, I think it's here to stay for a while. But yeah, I think it's misused. I think it's misunderstood.
A little bit of like the term du jour.
Totally. 100%. 100%.
Well, and then it's just a question of if it's going to remain that way. And, but because like you said, there is a sort of a medical need, which I think gives it a little bit more staying power. But I think that you make a really good point though, Braden. And I think that's the one thing that you have to be, careful about if you're about to drop $40,000 on a domain name, that it's like, your time horizon, it's like you don't sell it in 5 years, then you miss your boat, and then at that point, then it's, then you've lost money. So no, I think that's fair. So Braden, what do you like or don't like? I literally put IP attorneys on the list for you.
Thank you.
Which
I did.
So all I got to say was one.
Well, you know, we don't have a lot of time, and we're
I
trying
know.
to keep
Okay.
this down to
The only other
hour
one that
and
I will throw out there
20.
is I really, really like playthegame.com.
Yeah.
I love playthegame.com.
How much you love it? How
Yeah,
much
these
you-
3-word kind of expressions are doing well.
Yeah, I love colloquialisms. I think I said that right.
I bought readyforthegame.com the other day.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of those, like, you know, sayings and things that are just like, because they can be used for all sorts of shit, where it's like you could be, you know, the launching of a new game, it could be a new movie coming out, it could be any kind of ad campaign for almost anything. That's like, I mean, play the game is so universal, and it's so, you know, I mean, so broad.
It's a little close to Madden's, you know, get in the game, but
Yeah, but you know, but again, almost anything that's going to, anybody that's coming out with anything that's competition, again, any kind of marketing, you know, sort of campaign, that play the game. Like, I mean, it's just like, you can't get more on the nose around just like a key saying that is so well known, and you know, it can be used for anything. So I'm with you.
If it's bought right, I mean, if the thing ends up selling for $4,000, that's
oh yeah, no. It's a name you want to own for under $1,000.
right.
Yeah, but this isn't, that's not going.
It's not going for less than 5K.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was gonna.
Yeah,
be,
and
So
then it's gonna be a long haul.
that may very well be true.
I'm telling you,
but-
listen, when this sells for 5K, Amar is gonna be sitting on it for years.
He just doesn't sell names though. That's because he, you know, like he just, you know, he's a collector, man. He's a collector. It's all good.
Yeah.
Don't tell him about the Bored Apes, man. Don't tell him about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. You know what I mean?
No.
Or tell him, and he'll raise the price of all of our apes, maybe even the dogs too, man. You know what I'm saying? So
I like liveclasses.com.
yeah, that's cool too.
I think that's a nice
Yeah.
name. If it sells for under $1,000, I think it's a good price. It's a good name. Of
And
course,
that
IP
will sell for less than
from-
Play the Game. Play the Game is going to sell for more than live classes, in my opinion. You know, I think Play the Game is going to be, I think, easily 5, 6, you know, maybe even close to 10. Live classes maybe sells for 2, 3, but you know, I think that, you know, and I put Hurricane.
No, I think live classes goes for a lot more just because of the circumstances we are in.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's going to go up too. I think Get Physical is a good name.
Yep.
I mean, just
I don't know.
And you'll be
You
able to
want-
get it for
you want-
probably a good price.
You want to do another bet? I bet play the game goes higher than live classes.
You think play the game goes higher than live classes?
Yeah.
That's my guess too. Are we having another bet, or is the ICA getting another $100 from somebody?
100. I just sent him 200.
I just sent them 100. They got $300 for a $100 bet, so they're doing all right.
And I'm
Yeah.
gonna send them $100.
all right. I'm in on this one since I'm actually here this time.
All right, cool.
The
All
bet.
right.
I say live classes goes higher than play the game.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do you two, us two. You know what I'm saying? So $100 each type of thing. And then that way, you know, so it's either 200 from the old school guys.
What are we trying to do? Like, you know, create an endowment for the ICA?
Let's do 50 each.
All right, 50 each. So
I love the ICA, but I'm giving them a lot of money
do we
already.
have anywhere else that we would want to donate money to?
I'm not trying to put.
ICA's just like this. What's going on?
Well, either way, so let's do this. So Josh and I are on one team, the new school folks, the new school dudes against the old school guys, and to just see what's up. We think play the game. Y'all think live classes. Let's see what
Do
happens.
you say live classes also?
I think live classes sells for more than play the game. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. You two versus us two. That's it. Now that's on. Let's go.
Just because live classes is a business name and play the game is a marketing name, and you know.
JT, you know these guys with deep pockets are going to be bidding that up between them all freaking day.
All right, hey man, that's what happens. Yeah, exactly. Drew's gonna send me the email. He's gonna be like, add liveclasses.com to the inventory. Come on. But all right, so that's cool. So Josh, what about you? We got about 3 minutes here. What do you like on the list? What do you don't like? Oh, but real quick, Braden, IPattorneys.com. I mean, you've got, you know, for those who don't know, I mean, Braden's got a huge legal portfolio. You know, probably, you know, one of the best legal, you know, domain investors in the world based on names that he's has, and all that good stuff. What do you think? I mean,
I think I think I got a bid on it already.
you're like,
But funny thing is, so when I was bidding on it, there was IPattorneys.org listed. It's owned by New Ventures, and it had a buy now at $377. So I was like, I'll take a flyer on that.
oh yeah,
So I picked it up.
I like it. I like
That's
it.
cheap enough.
What
No, it's a strong name. You know, the problem and what people don't realize about legal names is that a name like this, that's practice area attorney, is that there are 4 versions of equal value. So in this case, got IP attorneys, IP attorney, IP lawyer, and IP lawyers. And people forget that. They're like, oh, this is a great name. Like, well, have you looked at the other 3 versions that have exactly the same value? Are they, you know, is there one that's available to register? Are they
yeah, that's a fair point. You know, and it's interesting with Josh, and with Josh on this too. I mean, he brings up a lot of that same point too when we talk about alternatives, right? And I've heard him bang that drum, and it's like, you're absolutely right. Like when you think, oh, somebody has to have this name, it's like, well, do they? What are the other available options? And I think that's a key thing to also look at. So Josh, you've got 60 seconds to give us a couple names that you like or don't like, some sort of final points, and then we're gonna sign off.
3 best names. 3 best names are Easy Connect, Play the Game, and The Pantry.
The
3 best names.
The Pantry is a good one.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, it's one of those where, especially if you can get that, sub $1,000, I think that's a good buy. And I do like the before things work, and something like that, like The Kitchen, The Pantry, things like that, The Studio. I mean, those are really, really strong domain names.
Yeah,
so.
the names do really well.
They've always helped because it's one of, as you were just talking about alternatives, it's one of the alternatives. Someone can't afford high 6-7 figures, for that oneword.com.
Sure.
Throw the in front of it and you can pick it up for 10 or 15 grand.
Yep.
I have a $20,000 offer right now on the table for thepyramid.com.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
All right. Well, with that, we are out of time. We want to thank everybody. I mean, guys, this could have been twice as long, that's an indication of a good show. Appreciate your time as always. Also want to say thank you to the audience. As I say on every show, without you, there's no us. So we thank you for taking the time. Hit us up. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. You want us to talk about, feedback, comments, all that good stuff. Did I say somebody's name wrong? Let me know. You know what I mean? I will apologize on the next show. And with that, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.